This isn't a bad story because they're talking about that drug thing to use where people think it's like this magical cure, which I think is dangerous and should only be used probably in the cases of people who are severely overweight that need assistance because it's a health crisis. Okay, so in some cases it would, I could see it being positive in one sense, but not for people who are totally anorexic. I mean, what the hell? Um, but then they don't learn anything, right? So this other story came out, I guess I had with Rebel and all that, and it popped up in her other titles with the Sasha thing. So I was reading it and I was like, true, your trainer is correct. So if you eat properly, it happens naturally, actually. And if you undereat for a long time, you have to refeed yourself and force yourself to eat like any person that undereats and has an eating disorder. So you have to force yourself to eat more than you would really want to. And it's really about calories, right? But as far as like satiation, like satiation, I know that in the community that I was in a while back, they called it volume eating. So volume eating is kind of like getting the most bang for your buck. So people who like to keep eating until it feels like, because they'll keep eating, right? And but what's happening is they're eating things that are high in calorie but not very filling. And so I learned to switch things around. Like I would rather have this gigantic plate of like vegetables and oats and all these other things and be really full and then have a side thing of some treat or something. And then that way you have the best of all worlds, right? You're not sitting there starving. It's better that you overeat on highly high nutritional foods, because you need micro macronutrients and other vitamins and minerals, right? So where do you get it from? Whole foods and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean you can't eat processed food or anything else. But that should be like the bulk of your your entire meals, right? But nobody does this because they all want to eat out and the lazy part. Okay, when they say lazy, the lazy part is about not about not moving around because I was always very active. The lazy part is not sitting down and educating yourself on how to do this stuff and educating yourself on not to run off with these fads and not to get stuck in quick late weight loss because you actually don't want quick weight loss because you want it off for good. And a lot of times on these diets you're losing a lot of water weight at the beginning, and so even if you lose 1 to 2 pounds in a month, that's awesome. And I know some people are going to be going but for a lot of people who are not extraordinarily overweight, that's pretty healthy. But some people who are far more, they have a lot more weight to lose. They would more than likely lose a lot more than that in the month. And it would slowly go over time, right? And then it starts changing because the more you go down the scale, then you need to readjust your calories again. And then you cut back that way. And then you hardly feel it. Like you, honest to God, if you do it properly, it's not that much of a struggle. It really isn't. But the problem is a lot of people, mostly these celebrities, just ignore them. They want to sit there and drop like 50 pounds in a month because then they got a photo shoot and then they start complaining about yo-yo dieting, a lot of stuff, okay? They're completely unhealthy. Then they bust out some extraordinarily unhealthy thing into the public because they want to make money for a product. Okay, so that's another thing. Um, they just don't sit down and readjust how they look at food and how to change things around. And also, in addition to some of these things, it's not always an emotional problem, but sometimes their problems have almost nothing to do with food. And it could be from abuse, it could be from some other things that they need to go sit down and talk to a therapist, okay? Mostly somebody who's like literally not even overweight and then wants to go jump on this pill thing and then now they're like way underweight. Okay? Like what the hell? So yeah, do not follow these people. They'll come up with something else in months or something like that. Oh, here's a new pill, here's a new product, here's a new this. You'll never be able to keep up with it. And then they always have problems, right? So let's see what this says, because it was kind of interesting. And I go, okay, well, this isn't really the worst advice, I don't think. Okay, involves drinking a twice a daily concoction blended of oats and, okay, hunger suppressing effects to ozone. I don't know. You wouldn't necessarily need to drink your oats, but I would rather have the oats regularly because it's more filling because it takes more time to break down, right? I guess that's the thing how they explain this because the more you blend it up and chop it up, it kind of, I think it goes through your system faster or something. I could be totally wrong, but that's how they talked about that. But anyway, having it in the normal form, and it's more bulky, right? So I would rather have a bowl of oats in the morning. And then actually, I technically did this without even thinking about it. So I used to have like, I changed my diet every once in a while, but I would have a bowl of oats in the morning. And then later in a snack thing, I made these protein bars that were like blended oats. So instead of using flour, we used oats. And then, so I did. I had it twice a day. I was like, I did. I didn't even think about it. Yes, and it's totally great. And the size of that snack bar is big compared to it's like about 200 calories. And then if you pull out one of those pre-made, bars, which they're fine too, but they definitely are not as filling as the oat bar, that thing. Okay, so you can exchange flour for oat flour, and that would do the same exact thing, guys. I would rather eat my food than drink my food. That's just me. I feel like it's more filling having it in whole form, but you do you. But experts say the effects of food isn't limited to oats. There are many ingredients that are known to keep hunger at bay for especially long periods. Exactly, but you have to eat right. Exactly. Okay. Okay, so all this stuff is high in fiber, beans. I don't sit really well with a lot of beans. Like, uh, okay, lentils, beans, peanuts. So I'm always looking for high protein as well. And so sometimes like too much of any of this stuff doesn't really fit in much, even though beans have about seven protein per serving, but it's also high in calories and it's better for me to have a tank of egg whites or something and chicken than that. So I would use it as a side, but that's just a side thing. And okay, so you wouldn't want to eat a tank of peanuts because peanuts are high in calories. You would want some, but I wouldn't. Because I'll tell you, back in the day, I would be able to eat that whole jar of peanuts and it would be insane. The calories in that, because I could. Because it's like fat, and I mean, it's really good. Like, I mean, if you're gonna overeat on anything, I guess eat on health foods. Okay, so then okay, also people who eat meals with legumes felt 31% more full than people who eat meals with pasta and bread. I disagree with that. I mean, I don't know. Pasta is pretty filling, but I have the protein pasta. I love it. Like I even have regular lasagna noodles. But everything's portioned out. I portion everything out. I don't just make something and then just eat the whole thing. I'm very strict as far as like portion control, because I'm trying to hit things but that's just me right now. But on a normal day, like if I wasn't doing that, I know I could proportion it to how many servings, and I would just cut it that way, and that's just how we go. Not that much thought to it, but I know what's in it in the overall recipe because I make it, but a lot of people don't cook their own food. So that's another problem. But if you buy it from the store, it says on the package, each serving and only have that much of a serving is this much calories, has this much thing. And I guarantee you it's probably not going to be as filling as if unless you made it yourself. And you could always pack in, if you make it yourself, you could always pack in more vegetables. If you want to make it more bulky, more food to eat, volume eating, add more things like vegetables because they're low in calories. And you could literally have a whole can of green beans for a meal in your meal. Not just that alone, but like adding beans to one. And okay, so you should also care about your long-term health, trying to avoid cancers, low cholesterol, things like that. So when I'm eating, I'm trying to make sure that everything is covered because you don't want to get colon cancer. You want to do everything possible to like try to ward off those things. I know when people were younger, they didn't give a crap about any of that. So the thing with the pill thing or that shot that they're doing, like it's them not eating enough. I guarantee you they're not eating right. You know what? When I'm looking at them, they don't look healthy. They look like, you know what they look like? It's reminding me back in the low carb days where like when everybody like lost like a lot of weight on low carb because nobody was really focused on everything else about how they're eating, and they just look kind of, I don't want to say gaunt, they just have this look where it's not quite very healthy. And luckily I think I avoided that because I still cared about, you know, certain things that I'm eating. But they're legitimately where people are just downing cream cheese and then like a bunch of meat, and they look kind of not good. But no matter what, I always threw in a multivitamin, regardless of the fact, even just half of one. Because if I eat really well, I'll just throw half a vitamin because I pretty much am probably covered, but just covering all the bases. Okay, so then soups could be more filling than solid meals made with same ingredients. I don't know. I'm going to tell you some of this stuff is just test it out, see what works for you. Soups to me, I would prefer to avoid the soups and have the full meal, the full solid foods. But there's times that I'm not in the mood and I do want a soup. But if you find soups are more filling, then do soups. You're going to be peeing a lot. Okay, this could be because your body responds to hunger and thirst in a similar way. And sometimes when you feel hungry, you're actually dehydrated. And therefore, consuming a lot of water in soup could help you feel more satisfied. Also, wait, soups are not created equal, and how full you feel after your soup depends on the kind you're having. Minestrone. Oh my god, minestrone soup would likely be satiating since it contains fiber from the beans, vegetables, and carbs, whereas another soup, less nutrient dense, like French onion, ew, not into that. I'm not into that. Okay, wait. Be more satisfying. Fruit is low in calories and high in fiber. Well, it depends. I'm a banana freak. I would eat a tank of bananas, and they're kind of higher on the calorie scale. But if you compare to eating some other bullshit, it's a lot less. And you can turn, oh, here's something you would like if you guys never tried it, is turning it into ice cream, which is like, okay, that's when I would like literally eat a million bananas. But you could take it and throw it in your processor, and on its own it turns into an ice cream. If you freeze the banana first, but then you could add anything in it. You could add jello flavoring packages to make it cheesecakey. You could put blueberries in it. You could put peanut butter in it. You could put anything in it. And wouldn't you rather have that and more of that than a scoop of ice cream? There's still some low calorie ice creams that you could still just have too. That's another thing. But I still think you get more bulk and more nutrition and a bang for your buck to do it that way. But options, right? It's a good option if you're craving something sweet but don't want to spike your blood sugar with processed candy. A half grapefruit, for example, is about 90% water and only contains 64 calories. Yeah, but who the hell wants half a grapefruit? That was the suffering of back in the day on those damn diets, the grapefruit diet. It always reminds me of that. And it's like, once in a blue moon, once every year and a half, I might want a grapefruit. That's just me. But also, it could be problematic, I guess, if you take medications. I started learning about that. So I don't know. It's not top on my list. I'm just a big fan of blueberries, and I'm a big fan of mangoes. Oh my god, I'm like mangoes for days. Mangoes, oranges, kiwi. Yeah. Anyway, some fruits like apple are higher in fiber than other sweeter kinds like melons. Melons are the bomb, dude. I'm gonna be growing those this year. And you can eat a lot of melon. Holy crap. I was doing a calculation of like how much melon you could eat. And then because it's mostly water. And I was like, you eat that whole thing and you get this big old huge thing of melons. That's another thing. You could freeze it and then also blend it. Okay, so she also cautioned that these can be healthy options, isn't always super filling on its own and best paired with other ingredients to keep full for longer. They're talking, yeah, so they're basically talking. Okay, I don't know what it is about broccoli and cauliflower, but um, it causes me to retain water or something weird. I love it. It's not bad. But if you care about any of that and you, for some reason, don't want to deal with that, some foods might do that. But I could literally eat broccoli for days and I can eat heads of cauliflower forever. I don't know, but anyway, similar fruit and it's very filling, right? Yeah. Okay, so then contain essential vitamins and fiber. Raw, oh, and baby spinach is the best. And you don't even have to think about it. If you just made your eggs, just take a handful of raw spinach and throw it into your stuff and everything. I'm like in everything. Okay, she also mentioned that your mentality about food you're eating can influence your satiety. Why can't I talk today? What the fuck? So if you know you can enjoy certain textures more than others, like crunchy over soft, increase the amount of food you eat. You're eating with textures that may help you feel more satisfied with your meal. Okay, so they said some foods are just comforting to you, and that in of itself is satiating. Cottage cheese is a filling addition. Cottage cheese is wonderful. There's a million things you can make with cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. Yeah. So, man, I started learning to do the pizza dough with Greek yogurt. I was like, has anybody tried that? I we didn't have that. We didn't have that recipe a while back. I was like that one popped up recently, and I go because I was looking for more protein. It's like more about the protein thing. And then you could turn it into bagels. And I was like, oh, okay, I've been wasting all my money on these bagels. And now I can make my own bagels and they're, higher in protein and they're only two ingredients or something. I was like, and it works for me. It tastes, I like the consistency of it actually better. The taste isn't quite on point, but I guess I could tweak that. If I wanted to probably put some yeast in it or something to give it a little bit more of that thing, but who cares? And then you know exactly how many calories in it and you could, weigh that out. Anyway, so it says, I have to have bagels. Who the hell's, no one's taking my bagels away. Have an egg for breakfast. Not an egg, dude. I have, like, an egg. I will have sometimes, what is it? Like 4 egg whites and 1 egg. And then, yeah, I have a tank of egg whites. And then I make sure to add regular eggs in as well. I usually buy the store out. I think they get mad every time I order something. I go, I cannot be the only person that does this. I was like, anyway, it says that people who ate eggs for breakfast ate less calories during their next meal compared to people who had cereal and juice for breakfast. Yeah, it's a crazy thing. So, oh, and I also have low calorie bread too. Like, I'm just totally a big old fan for that Sara Lee thing or whatever that is. Because I can get more food, right? It's not because I need it way low in calories, is that the more lower calories an item is, the more different things I can eat on my plate and add more food. I was like, that's how I look at it. And then bulk eating, volume eating. Okay. Fish has been, I'm not a big fish fan. I want to save the fish. I was like, they're pets. Okay. I will eat tuna once in a while, but I just that and pork. I refuse. But this could be because the animals are high in omega-3 fatty acids. Animal protein has more protein per gram than plant protein, so it's also a full protein versus some of these plant. I don't know, but anyway, so it tends to be more efficient for way people who want to intake more protein to fill up. Otherwise, just have soy. The tofu's fine. I'll throw tofu in once in a while. Tofu, dude, chop it up. Tofu hamburger. You know what? I still, to this day, cannot find that damn hamburger mix my friend gave me a long time ago. I was like, what is it? Because I still can't find it. It was so good. It was actually really good. And then I'm like, I don't know, maybe they don't make it anymore. What it was like a powder, I think. And then you mixed it in with tofu. I don't know. It's called something. I don't know. Can't find it. But all these other ones that they've given me, I was like, I don't like it. It doesn't taste the same. I'm looking for this certain thing. And it was actually really good. Obviously, lettuce you could literally pile on for days. Like 100 grams of lettuce is like, was it like 16 to 25 calories or something? Oh my God. And then wait till you try to pile up 200 grams of lettuce, which is like, it's like under 50 or something. It's like, try to eat that in one meal. That's what I'm saying. I go, it's like if you're having a problem with the bottomless pit, I was like, that thing right there, that's why I'm saying it's called volume eating. I don't know if it's like still dubbed it like that. Maybe they're just calling it a million other things, but like volume eating. Get more for the bang, more bang for your buck, and fill your plate. Try to see how much food you can fill up on a plate that will fit the a low amount of calories. My calories are different than everybody else's. Some people, their meals are split up a million times through the day. So it depends. So whatever each meal you consider, like maybe you go, oh, each meal should be like 400 or 500 calories. I mean, that's high for me, but if you go like that, and then you go, okay, how much food can I fit? Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine this. So I'm trying to bulk it like that with these volume foods for like 500 calories. I would need like 4 plates maybe. So and I would eat it all, but you would be massively full, okay? I would never want to hear anybody complain about it again. But they would be totally healthy because if you put all the proper things on here, balance, balance. Don't look like these people. They're showing up and they don't look good. Trump looks like shit, dude. I don't know if he, I don't know. People think he went on that thing. I go, if he did, he looks really bad. That's what I'm saying. Not all weight loss is equal. That makes you look like you something that you got ill, and you should look very healthy and plump and shiny and radiant. You should look like that, not sagging down, yellowish, and like you're going through a medical crisis. Like that's kind of what, yeah, some of these people are looking like right now. Okay, you don't want to look like that. And also, you should throw in some exercise. But anyway,